How much does a clean name cost? You are Qing, best spirit root in 3 generations, and the only disciple in the entire Azure Cloud Sect with no faction, no patron, and no secrets. You win every duel. You break every record. And you sleep in a leaky hut because no elder will promote a weapon they can't own. You thought your purity was a shield. Turns out, it's the most expensive product the sect has ever sold, and you're the one selling it. Let me show you the invoice. 5 years ago, the sect announced a sweeping reform. The Grand Council declared war on graft. To ensure absolute transparency, every monthly production report from the alchemy hall, every pill batch, every spirit herb yield now requires a counter-signature. A witness. And not just any witness. The signature must belong to a disciple with absolutely no faction ties, to guarantee objectivity. You are the only disciple in the entire sect who qualifies. You have no patron. You owe no debts. You are Qing, and your name is apparently made of gold. The first time it happened, Elder Rome from the alchemy hall came to your leaking hut. He brought you a small charcoal brazier and, quietly, a season's reprieve from night gate duty. Small gifts. He also brought a monthly production ledger. He smiled, poured you tea, and asked you to look at a tray of freshly forged foundation establishment pills. You counted 30 pills. You signed the ledger, witnessed, count accurate. You didn't lie. You counted 30. Your eyes are sharp, your math is flawless, and your integrity is exactly why Elder Rome sought you out. You aren't a threat. You are a notary. For your trouble? You didn't freeze to death that winter. 3 low-grade spirit stones, handed over as a processing fee. It felt like a triumph. You beat the system by being too pure to touch. But here's what you didn't know, 2 pills had already been pulled from that tray before you ever stepped into the counting room. The count was 30. The batch was 32. You verified a lie perfectly, legally, and without a single stain on your name. Turns out, your clean name wasn't just a shield keeping you safe. It was a currency. And everyone was lining up to buy it. Today, your name is a subscription service. And business is booming. The fee is always the same. 3 low-grade spirit stones. Every single time someone needs a counter-signature. Just a standard administrative processing fee. You don't even have to haggle. They leave the stones in a silk pouch on your desk, next to the scroll. You sign, they take the scroll, you take the stones. You sign for the alchemy hall. You sign for the spirit farm harvests. You sign for the array hall's material requisitions. You average 8 signatures a year, spread out flawlessly across 5 different departments. No single elder uses your name too often, because that would draw attention. This is the rhythm of the sect. You know the price list better than the cultivation manuals. 3 stones for a name. 2 stones for an afternoon. Wait, what's the 2 stones for? Ah. That's the tutelage premium. An outer disciple wants to get into a restricted scripture pavilion? They need a reference. They pay you 2 low-grade spirit stones a season just to stand next to you in the courtyard for 5 minutes. You nod at them once. You don't actually teach them anything. You don't have the time or the patience. But they write mentored by Qing on their application, and suddenly, the door opens. 6 disciples over the last 5 years have bought this premium. 12 stones, pure profit, for doing absolutely nothing but standing in the sun. It's a beautiful system. It feels like you've finally found a way to profit in a sect that refuses to promote you. You've carved out your own little graft. You think you're finally playing the game. But a few low-grade stones couldn't buy you a foundation establishment pill. They couldn't even buy you a new roof. So where does your real wealth come from? Here is what real power looks like in a cultivation sect. It doesn't look like a nascent soul elder snapping a sword in half. It looks like a line of terrified, ambitious people outside a leaky hut. Because you hold the valve. When an elder needs to cover up a 30% loss in their monthly herb harvest, they don't forge the documents. They need an irrefutable, legally spotless witness to verify the fake count. Your signature is the wax seal that makes a lie into an official truth. And this economy isn't unique to you. The whole sect runs on favors dressed up as transactions. Elders slip spirit stones to taskmasters in exchange for safe, lucrative missions. Rare spirit herbs and pills by nominations to restricted manuals. Beast cores purchase a closed eye when a young master bends a sect rule. Everyone trades in something. You're just the strangest case, because the thing you're selling isn't a pill, a herb, or a core. It's a name. Elder Han from the array hall needed your signature to cover a lethal Qi deviation. He sent his most beautiful inner disciple to your door with the scroll, the 3 stones, and a very suggestive smile. You signed it. You kept the stones. You sent the girl away. You're the most powerful outer disciple in the sect. The core formation elders, who normally wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire, treat you with terrifying respect. Meanwhile, inner disciples leave their sect-issued silks outside your door as gifts, desperate for you to sign off on their beast hunt yield reports so they can skim the rare cores. Real power doesn't sit on a jade throne. It sits at a battered wooden desk, holding a brush. It's the man who controls the paper trail. You are finally untouchable. But you aren't skimming off the top. You're skimming from the very core of heaven. And the bill for that is about to come due. Let's talk about your actual cultivation base. Your incredible, unprecedented speed. You advanced from the 4th level of Qi condensation to foundation establishment in just 3 years. People call you a monster. They assume it's your perfect spirit root. They're wrong. When Elder Rong brings you an alchemy ledger to sign, he always brings a small, beautifully carved wooden box. He calls it the testing fee. He says the sect mandates that a witness must consume a fragment of the pill they are verifying, to ensure it isn't poisoned. It's an old law. A made-up law, but it sounds official. You take the pill. You swallow it. You feel the roaring surge of refined spiritual energy flood your meridians. You sign the ledger. Over the last 5 years, you have signed exactly 20 alchemy reports. You have swallowed exactly 20 testing fragments. 20 high-grade, embezzled foundation establishment pills, pumped straight into your cultivation base. You didn't steal them from a vault. You didn't kill for them in a secret realm. You ate them sitting at your desk, legally, under the guise of quality control. Here is the dark comedy of the sect: those elders have to steal resources just to survive. Their official stipends aren't enough to buy the pills required to push their own boundaries. The corruption is a load-bearing wall. The sect literally relies on the elders stealing, because if they don't get strong, the sect falls to its rivals. But you? You've built your foundation on the exact same stolen bricks. You thought your strength was pure. You thought your talent was natural. That power you feel in your dantian? That's graft, distilled into medicine. You're eating the rot of the sect, and it tastes like enlightenment. You assumed you were the one exception. The one genius rising above the filth. Except, you aren't standing outside the market. You are the main attraction. You thought being unaffiliated made you safe. A lone wolf. Above the petty faction wars. But why do you think they leave you out there in the cold? Why do you think no elder has ever tried to officially take you as a direct disciple? Because the moment they claim you, your name loses its magic. The whole system relies on your signature being legally unimpeachable. The Grand Council's anti-corruption reform, the one that demanded an unaffiliated witness, was designed to create exactly what you are. A perfect, blind rubber stamp. Your genius isn't a weapon they want to wield in battle. Your genius is a loophole they rented out to the highest bidder. You sit in your freezing hut, thinking you're better than the corrupt inner disciples. You sneer at them for buying their way up. But you aren't better. You are the infrastructure of their corruption. When a talentless young master wants to claim he killed a rank 3 beast, he needs you to sign the beast core ledger. You are the reason the young masters look like heroes. You are the reason the elders look like saints. You aren't a rogue cultivator playing by his own rules. You're an employee. The most vital, most exploited employee in the entire sect. You've been living in the market this whole time. You're just the product everyone else is trading. You thought your purity was your shield. It's your price tag. And if you think the sect master doesn't know exactly what you're doing in that hut, you haven't been paying attention to how this place really works. The Grand Council down at the central peak knows everything. They aren't blind. They know the alchemy hall is skimming pills. They know the array hall is selling materials. And they know you are the one signing the paperwork. So why hasn't the Grand Inquisitor kicked down your door? Why hasn't the sect master dragged you before a disciplinary tribunal? Because the Grand Council needs loyal elders more than they need honest ledgers. If the sect master purges the corrupt elders, the sect collapses. The network breaks. The infrastructure falls apart. They need the corruption to survive. But here's the catch, the Grand Council still needs to prove to the outside world, to the rival sects, to the mortal empires, to the founding ancestor, that the Azure Cloud Sect is a flawless meritocracy. They need proof of their own integrity. And that proof is you. Your name is scattered across 40 different reports over the last 5 years. 40 official, legally binding documents that declare, everything in this sect is perfectly fair. If they audit you, if they expose you, they don't just expose a single crime. They expose the lie. They rip the proof of their own fairness to shreds. You are the keystone holding the entire facade together. Your clean name is the blanket they throw over the rotting corpse of the sect's morality. You thought you were a victim of the system. You thought they denied you a promotion because you didn't have a patron. No. They denied you a promotion because promoting you would mean losing their favorite alibi. You are the veil. And you're never getting a raise. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. And the design is far heavier than you think. That's the Codex Law of institutions. Whoever controls the paperwork holds the sect, but whoever holds the sect becomes the scapegoat. The legends cut the bureaucrats out because notaries don't make good mythology. And they cut the quiet little kickbacks out, because nobody wants to admit the cleanest genius in the sect built his power on embezzled pills. Sound familiar? It should, because that market exists outside these mountains too. Next entry, wait until you see where all that stolen money goes. Because immortals need a place to drink, sleep, and hide from their elders, and the mortal tea house down the mountain has to survive clients who could level the building over a spilled cup of tea. Thanks for being here.